Hello everybody, it is Sunday the 21st of November. I want to make this video because I was watching on Facebook a video from Double Down News and it was a video made by Nabil Abdulrashid. Now if you don't know who he is a black Muslim of Nigerian descent living in Britain, and I'm describing him that way because he describes himself that way. Started off comedian, he was on Britain's Got Talent, but then now becoming a political activist. Right. Now, Nabil was talking about what was happening in Kenosha, talking about it as white supremacy. You know, that a white kid could shoot down two protesters and then walk into the police lines with the gun, and that a black kid would not have been able to do that. Absolutely true. I mean, that is true. But there is a way to achieve equality. There's a right way and there's a wrong way, especially at this moment. And I really want to point this out to people because some people do not seem to have a hold on this. Right, let's just put in perspective what actually happened in Kenosha at that time when the shootings happened. Yeah? That was not a peaceful protest, that was a full-on riot. They were burning down businesses in a small town that is already economically disadvantaged and that is struggling to provide income for all its inhabitants. So they were burning down what little was there. They were not like innocent protesters. I don't know how many of them, but some of them had already criminal records for violent offences. So they were not the little lambs going around protesting. They were not unarmed. At least one of them had a gun. And okay, the other one was armed with a skateboard. A skateboard is not designed to be a weapon, but if you use it in that manner, it becomes a weapon. Yeah? So that is what happened. Carl was there in defense of the businesses. Now, whether a 17-year-old should be in charge of a rifle of that caliber is a different matter, and I think it's something that should be thought about. But it is the law, and he was there. Right. Now, a short lesson in history here. And it wasn't that long ago, and I don't know why people do not have a hold on this. Yeah, but at the beginning of Nazi Germany, it was the brown shirt thugs of the SS that were going around burning businesses and rioting in the streets. And they did so to bring their Nazi masters to power. Yeah? Is what is happening now. It is those thugs rioting in the street are the equivalent of the SS. They're working the same thing all over again. We have a lot of peaceful protests at the moment against one thing or another, and we can see them. And what was happening in Kenosha that night was not that. And then coming to supremacists, white or otherwise. The supremacists, those that thought themselves supreme over everybody else, were the Nazi masters. They were the supremacists. Not the ones in the street trying to defend themselves against that, trying to defend their property, trying to defend their lives in some instances. They were in defense of human rights. that did not make them supremacists. Supremacists are those that are directing the brown shirts. So now coming to the equality we actually need, because Nabil was obviously right. A black kid could not have walked into the police lines with a high-powered rifle hanging about him. This equality we need is that black kids should have been able to stand beside Carl in defense of their community without fearing any harsher consequences for themselves than what happened to Carl. That is the equality we need. The same right, without having to fear being in more fear than the white kid beside you. And if we have that equality, then that is the equality that means we can stand together, become stronger against the aggressors. When every part can stand there equal and none of them have to fear harsher consequences than the others. That's the equality we need. Now, the equality that Nabil and others are taking us toward, is this. The brown shirts will win because everybody has been taken the right to self-defense. It has been taken away from everybody. So now we're equal. None of us is allowed to defend ourselves. And then they will come in and we're all ending up goose-stepping along the same lines, being ruled over. And I guess in our lines of goose-stepping we will be equal again. I mean, that is one way of achieving equality. We're all going to be equal, goose-stepping and being not free. We're all going to be equal in that. That is not the equality that I want. And I don't know if that is the equality that Nabil wants. But that is where we're heading through this. So, the equality we actually need is that we all have the same right to defend ourselves, that we can stand together in defending ourselves without one part having to fear harsher consequences than another. And then we can go forward together, where everybody can defend their human rights in an equal manner. That is the equality we need. But for that to happen, we must actually see who the supremacists are here. Who are the bad guys? That is something people just don't seem to have a hold on. Rioting in the street and burning down businesses are not the actions of an upstanding citizens, and those that defend themselves are the supremacists. History taught you the supremacists were those that were directing the brown shirts. And they did that so they could become actively supreme over everybody else and rule over them. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at this. So this is the equality we need, where we can all stand together without parts of the group having to fear different consequences, more severe consequences. And once we're all equal in our rights to stand up, we can stand together. And as I say, get it the right way up who are actually the bad guys here. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.